Hi, my name is Keith and I'm known as a Florida Stone Man, and today I'm going to be teaching you about spiritual gifts and the truth about spiritual gifts and how they open and things you can do to be opening spiritual gifts. And this is going to be a very shocking, surprising video to some of you, and this is going to really have some of you evaluating your intentions. Now, in the world, everything is light and dark. There's good and there's bad. There's beings of light, there's beings of darkness, etc. When you open your spiritual gifts, you're usually connecting to something. It could be an ancestor, it could be an angel, it could be a deity, if you're actually connecting to a deity versus a trickster spirit, because some people have really bad intentions and they connect to something that's not the deity that they thought they were connecting to, and they connect to spirits, etc. But I'm going to be teaching you about a lot about spiritual gifts in this video. I'm actually going to do this a very various ways, and why you might not have your gifts open yet, how your gifts can be opening, how you are not actually opening your gifts sometimes, and etc. So I'm going to talk about, some people are like, okay, like, why aren't my spiritual gifts open? What's going on? Is there a blockage? Is there something? What's going on? I'm going to tell you the biggest cause right now. It's because one thing that you guys have to know about spiritual gifts is that they take time to open. They take time. And you better thank God that they take time to open, because when some gifts open, they're intense. Now, a lot of times, unless you do it the wrong way, you'll hear stories about people like, oh, someone watched a YouTube video and they opened all their gifts at once. Why can't I do that? It's because you don't want to, and your guides are protecting you. If your guides didn't really care, they let you do that. Sometimes some of you do go past your guides and then you rip them open, you force them open, and they close back up and you never are able to access them again the same way. Some people, and I actually know a lot of people who, when they were children, when they were in middle school, high school, they had the most amount of gifts. Like, these people were flat out gifted, and the gifts became too much, and they asked God to take away the gifts, and the gifts kind of faded and disappeared. And they're like, I wish I had that come back again, and it can come back again. Now, sometimes there's an illusion that some gifts just kind of flat out open. They've always been there from past lives, and it depends. This actually really depends, because sometimes God, when God really wants you to have a gift, He's going to give it to you. Most of the time, you do have to earn it, and you have to work for it. You have gifts that are in your natural gift set, and you have gifts that are gifts you have to work for. Like, flat out, there's no easy way around it. My angels always tell me there's no easy way to a gift except for earning your way there. Some people are just like, I want my gifts, gimme. And there's people who are humble in asking for their gifts to be opened. And the biggest thing is you have to pay for your gifts. Like, ugh, you gotta pay with your gifts. No, nothing has to be paid. Everything has a price. In the spiritual realm, everything has a price. Time is energy. You hear people say time is money. Well, in the spiritual realm, when you meditate, you're literally paying attention to your guides. You're paying attention to your gifts. You're literally paying energy into your gifts opening. And what will happen is, it might take years for your gifts to open. There's certain ways to open them much quicker, such as working with crystals. You might as well shave about 30 years off of waiting on your gifts with crystals, such as adamite and amethyst. And the more crystals you can start using at once, I mean, not at once, over time, the more your gifts will open. So there's certain things in your planetary chart that relates to opening gifts. So if you're like, okay, why are my gifts really powerful? Because same thing will happen to me. I'm not going to say all of my spiritual gifts on here, because I don't think that's fully appropriate. I've shared multiple of just what I'm able to do. And at a certain point, when you have your gifts open, it's not even like, you don't think of it as you having the gift. It's just kind of like a common thing for you. It's like, okay, if the iPhone was a gift, it's like you have an iPhone, versus you walking around saying, okay, look at my gift, guys. No, it's just something that's so a part of your natural reality. And for my friends who are mediums, they're so used to being mediums that, like, they don't like the word medium. They're like, I'm not a medium. I'm just able to talk to angels. I'm like, okay, fair enough. Like, that's cool. It's actually really cool. The more the world should be like this. And sometimes I'll actually, when connecting to other people, I realize, okay, this is, certain people consider certain things being a medium, and once people find out you're able to talk to angels, able to look into the astral realm, able to leave your body, then people will want readings and stuff like that. But then you have to accept that just because your gifts are open doesn't mean you're going to be a reader, etc. It's very energetically taxing to be a reader. You usually need a deity on standby to help you do readings, and you have to know your intention with readings. So if you're doing readings just for money, if you're doing readings to help people, then okay, but you have to have help on the other side when doing readings. You're not doing the readings, okay? I made a whole video on that. You're not the one doing the readings. The guide is. Whatever is being channeled is doing the readings. And if you ever go to people who, because some people who are just flat out dark, they'll have the most beans, the most information to spill. It's because lower level entities such as, and for some reason, fallen angels have all the information, but they get very late information. Angels will know things, and for the people who I teach to how to open your clairaudience, your ears to actually hearing angels, some people are surprised, like, oh, I'm not a reader. I'm not able to be a reader. Well, just because you're able to talk to your angel doesn't mean they're going to give you all the information. There's a spiritual law of interference when it comes to angels helping humans. Angels are not allowed to do everything for us. They're not allowed to interfere into certain things. They're more so helpers and friends, and they're amazing to talk to. They're absolutely wonderful, but people talk to angels and expect, oh, do everything for me, oh, do my bidding. No, that's not how it works. You're not going to force an angel to do anything. If you want to do that, work with anything but an angel, which I don't suggest because that has its price as well. But when it comes to opening your spiritual gifts, a lot of you are not actually being consistent. That's why your gifts don't open. A lot of you don't pay attention to the small things, because even when I was first opening my clairaudience, I remember I would go into restaurants and I'd just be like, ah! Like, what's going on in the kitchen? I'm like, what's that beaming noise? I'm like, it sounds like screaming. I'm like, everyone's like, oh, I don't hear that. And then I tested different frequencies and actually learned about different frequencies, like different dog whistle frequencies I'll teach about in the future. You gotta be careful with those sometimes, but one thing as well, the biggest thing I see is why people don't have their spiritual gifts open is because they don't even acknowledge the gifts that they have. Now, there's two sets of gifts, basically. The gifts of the higher chakras and the gifts of the lower chakras. So some people are more energetically inclined because they have they're more connected to the lower chakras. Like their gifts, you can look at your favorite color, and this will probably tell you. So if your favorite colors are more of the red, orange, yellows, then you probably have gifts of the lower chakras. It's what resonates with you. Does that mean you can't access the higher chakra gifts, such as visions and clairaudience? No, they're actually really easy to access. But keep in mind, when you access them, they take time to open. And you better, like I said, you better thank God, because when they take time, it's not overwhelming. Especially for people who are able to hear angels right away, it's extremely intense. It's intense. Like, for you to hear, from going to not hearing angels to fully hearing angels, they are very high-pitched, let's just say that, and they can literally make you feel like you have tinnitus sometimes, but that's if you open your gifts way too fast or if they open the wrong way. A lot of people who go down the dark path and work with dark entities, you're like, how are these people opening their gifts? It's because these entities literally feed off of energy. So they're going to help these people open their gifts so that they're able to better communicate with them and better able to do more. So when someone's open, those dark entities can get in and they can do a whole lot. Now, when it comes to, and you have to be, one reason some of your gifts don't open is because some of you are not very specific. So you'll be like, I want my gifts open. And I'll be like, okay, which ones? Or like, what one in particular? Because and I don't really like dividing gifts up into clairaudience, clairvoyance, etc. because it's kind of, it treats the gifts like they're open separately, but when you open one, they all start to open. Like they literally crack open. Now, and let me just throw in real quick. This is really quick. Your diet affects your gifts. If you eat beef or pork, your gifts are not going to open the way you want them to. Like, flat out. Especially the energy gifts of the lower chakras, the root chakra. Remember, sacral chakra, solar plexus chakra, root chakra, etc. Those lower gifts are going to take longer to open, if they even open. I remember when I first quit eating, because people are like, are you vegan? No, I like fish. But not every day anymore. I still burn incense, by the way, so if my voice is kind of changing, it's because I'm working with different throat chakra crystals, especially at the gym. I'm switching up my necklace sets at the gym. I'll have to show you my other set of necklaces, which is actually really cool. But you have to find out where your natural gift set resides. So if you're someone who... And this is a cool test. Close your eyes, guys. Close your eyes and tell me what you see. When you close your eyes, do you see colors? Do you see darkness? Do you see clouds? Do you see blues? Do you see reds? And some of you will just be like, I just see darkness. And you look it up and it's like aphantasia or whatever it's called. And you just see darkness. And you're like, my gifts are not open. Well, that's actually, it's a lot more open than you realize. So for people who see colors, that'll develop into visions. That'll develop into so much more. Like very fast. But if you're someone who's actually just seeing darkness, that's very good too, because that means you know where to start now. Like you look into the darkness of the blackness of your eyelids, and I would do research on the different kind of subjective and objective. So there's clairvoyance in your head, which is like you can look into your imagination, or look into your imagination, which is your mind's eye, and you'll see a whole bunch of stuff. Or you'll look at the wall and you'll start seeing things like I look at my wall and I'm seeing roads and just roads from like above. Like, and some people are looking so hard for the giant details. So you look at the wall and you're like, I see a wall. Look at just like because how about this? For the people who want to practice with their, another way to practice your, I believe it's called objective clairvoyance. Subjective, objective, I get them mixed up all the time. I'm going to make a new word for that. But pick a wall. Look at the wall and you'll notice static. And then you'll start to notice the static more and more and more and more. Stop looking at the wall and start looking at the static. And what's the static doing? And don't look at the static as one piece of static. Look at the static as a collective. Look at the static, and then you'll start to see different things. So I'm looking at the static, and I'm seeing more roads. I don't know what the deal with that is. It's like a Google map or whatever. I'm like, why are you seeing roads? It's because an angel, because I connect people to angels. An angel near you is showing you a road, and now I'm seeing different roads. I see a starfish now, because different angels will send you different visions, different images, etc. Some of you will go down what I call the euphoria tunnel. So when you're feeling really good and you reach when you hit euphoria, which this is why you should be in a balanced place when meditating, you will flat out. Once you hit euphoria, you're on a different vibrational level where you can access a different dimensions. So you'll start going down to the dimensional tunnel. So you'll start seeing shapes and all these different things. And then this is just, this is actually something I'll teach in the future. It's a different dimension. It's something that's not of the 3D world. That doesn't really make much sense, but it's something that you will experience in the next world or in the in-between. Because when you're on the other side, you can do a whole bunch more cool things. Like when you're fully, when you're dead, basically. I don't want to... the afterlife's not what people think it is. It's very, very interesting. It's multi-dimensional. It's not anything what people think it is. But, and I'm not really supposed to explain too much about that. When it comes to opening your spiritual gifts, have fun with it. Be patient. Your gifts open very slowly, because they sometimes need to open very slowly. You ever heard the term, easy come, easy go? Same thing. Some of you might have actually unlocked all your gifts at once and they fully close right back up. You have to look at certain astral events, because sometimes it's around a full moon, sometimes it's around an eclipse, sometimes it's in your birth chart with different planetary alignments. It's like, hey, this is when you're going to open some of your gifts in this part of the year and you'll have access, and then your gifts mysteriously go away. Yeah, because that planet, whatever planetary alignment switched. So now you're in a different era of your planetary, or not. You're in a different era of your planetary alignment. Oh, that's a mouthful. Tongue twister. In the future, I'll be teaching more about planets and astrology, but right now I'm just really studying it. Like, really, really studying it to make sure I'm teaching it 100% right, because I don't teach 99% right information. I teach stuff that I 100,000% know, and that you can apply yourselves. Now, more reasons as to why your gifts might be opening very slowly. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're a person with dark intentions, or you're not being that very direct about your intentions, they're not going to open the way you want them to. Sometimes they'll half open. Like, how do these bad people get gifts? Because they have bad spirits nearby and be like, I want to work with bad guides. Yeah, you'll get your gifts half unlocked and you'll be stuck and then practicing different things. And then when a dark guide opens your gifts, let's just say I hope you enjoy the headaches, because if you really choose a dark guide to open your headaches, pretty much. Dark guides will flat out do everything on your crown chakra. They will literally do 100% of whatever they can do. And they are... Does it really surprise you? George Washington's white horse is white. When a dark guide is now your main... I should make a video about dark guides in the future. Sometimes your angels will kind of back up, or either you'll phase out. So if your vibration hits a certain low, you're kind of like this to your angels. Like, you're kind of like fuzzy to your angels, and you're like, your angels will be like, this person, their vibration has dropped and they've become much harder to help. And now they're kind of fuzzy. It's a lot harder for me to reach them on their vibration unless I lower mine. And it energetically taxes the angel to try to reach you at that vibration, etc. And guess who's on that lower vibration? Fallen angels, spirits, most likely spirits. For you to have a fallen angel interested in you, you have to be doing something. Now, when it comes to opening gifts through light and everything that's good and everything that's right, it takes time. Certain crystals will crack it open, and then it'll be right when you use the crystal, it'll immediately crack it open. And after that, you'll have to wait because it kind of closes back up. It's not really closing back up like that. It's because, like I said, different planetary alignments. Sometimes it's just showing you a glimpse of the future. Sometimes it could be 100,000 different things, but the thing is, it takes time. And you do have to be connecting with a guide. I suggest you guys connect with your guardian angels because they're pure, they're of light, they're easy to connect with, and the more you connect with your guardian angel, the more magical things happen in your life. The more your guardian angel will help you with your gift set. Guardian angels can connect you to ancestors, but not directly, because sometimes some of you will go to connect to an ancestor and you're so inexperienced that when you connect to the ancestor and you don't really have that much help, you connect to something that pretends to be your ancestor or something else, and that's why some of you have those bad thoughts and nightmares and stuff like that. Work with crystals such as angelite, black tourmaline, and selenite, especially for that. If you want your gifts open, work with crystals that are purple. Sometimes and people get the misconception. They're like, oh, if I work with a crystal that's purple, it's going to open my crown chakra. Yeah and no, because a lot of humans think that when you work with crystals, it's just the color of the chakra that matches that chakra. That's not true at all. I've helped people open their gifts with heart chakra crystals alone. That's why Moldavite is so volatile for certain people. Like, Moldavite. But it literally cracks everything open based on its frequency alone. So sometimes a heart chakra crystal, which... I'm going to tell you some crystals that jade can open your ability of... I just had my jade nearby too. It can open your ability of astral traveling, lucid dreaming, etc. Now, a crystal such as... Chrysoprase is a gift opener as well, just because it really takes you out of a reality that you feel not happy in, and it puts you in a reality that makes you very happy. Another crystal that's very good for heart chakra opening is... Because jade's a really good one. And it opens the third eye as well, but people don't really know that. Chrysoprase, it literally aligns your heart center, because if you have gift energy that's stuck in here, and it's supposed to be, because remember how the body is a tree, it goes from the root to the crown. If the root energies from the earth are moving up and they get stuck here, that's a very important center, because the energy is supposed to go here, remember? Now, what's another good crystal for opening gifts? Well, there's some green crystals that people are shocked when they open gifts. Green aventurine can open gifts, and people are like, what's he doing talking about crystals opening gifts? Well, green aventurine can open your gifts because you'll get lucky with some of the knowledge that you'll come across, because sometimes when you think what you're doing is a coincidence and how you open your gift is actually not a coincidence, and you got pointed in the right direction. So knowledge is everything. Knowledge is power. I'm going to use my green wrist as an example. Another crystal opening, Alexandrite's really cool. But it's really tough to get actual alexandrite. It opens the bridge between the heaven and the earth and the angelic realm, and it can help you open angelic portals as well. What does that mean? So, energy, ley lines to above the firmament. Now, there's other crystals as well. Jade's really good. Jade and chrysoprase, and because I'm not naming the typical crystals that open your gifts. Atacamite's one of the best It literally like just forces your third eye open in a correct way. People are like, oh, don't listen to him. He's gonna force open your third eye. Well, it cleans out gunk on a subconscious level and on a spiritual level, even from past lives that fully block you. Blue kyanite's wonderful for opening gifts as well. Amethyst is really good. There's different kinds of amethyst, such as Brandsburg. There's no, you can get into the Super 7 if you get actual Super 7. There's Orlite 23. There's a whole bunch of really cool stuff out there. There's just really, really cool stuff that just blast open gifts. And like I said, certain crystals will open gifts in people that you never really expected. Sapphire is very good for opening gifts, especially when connecting to angels. If you don't know, this is sapphire. It doesn't look like sapphire, but it's actual sapphire. It's not the gem grade. The gem grade, I call it. It's basically the super high grade. It's like, oh, he's wearing sapphires, ah! But I like, for certain crystals like sapphires and rubies and emeralds, I really do prefer the obtainable grade that is not like museum quality, because I've seen the museum quality and I'm like, well, if I wear this and I go out in public, then people are not going to know I'm wearing emeralds, and I don't really, like, I'm using them for the energy, not the flashiness. Key West, I've seen some really cool natural emerald shops, which is actually really cool. That's a different story, because I'm going to talk to you guys in the future about emerald as well, and how they can... emerald! Oh, that's a really good third eye opening crystal, because they open spiritual vision as well. So emerald cracks open spiritual vision. It's actually what kings would use back then. It opens your gifts specifically at night as well. Now, every crystal can be used to unlock gifts, just based on your energetic blockages or energetic what resonates with you. So some of you might have used all the crown chakra crystals, but you find that they don't really help you open your gifts. It's because you might have a blockage in a different chakra. Most likely it's in the heart chakra or the root chakra, which is very common because people, or the sacral chakra, because most people are not working on their sacral chakras. You will notice some gifts just that open like energetic fire when you work with orange crystals. But going back to why some of your gifts might not be opening, if you're doing bad and you have a feeling that some of the things you do are not right, your gifts are not going to open because you're not doing good. God sees everything. God is the one opening your gifts. When you ask him to open your gifts, he's opening them, but you have to make sure you do your part as well. Now, what closes gifts? Oh, this is really easy. Cockiness, ego, sabotage. So I've seen people's gifts close up like a Rose of Jericho. Like, you know what, if people know what a Rose of Jericho is, that this is an example for people who know what it is. When there's no water nearby, it just shuts and closes. Well, the same thing applies when you're doing bad. Like, when you're doing bad, the angelic guides will just back up and be like, no more. Sometimes, I mean, most of your gifts are actually opening, but keep in mind they have to open slowly if you're doing it the manual route. Like I said, work with lots of crystals if you do want your gifts opened. Now, the more you practice to open your gifts, so let's just say you do different kind of meditations. Be specific about your gifts. So if you would like clairvoyance, practice scrying. If you would like clairaudience, practice listening, like actually listening, and then study your gifts as well. So, like, study different hertz and frequencies, and just because a lot of these gifts are very scientific, and disclaimer, this is not a scientific related video, but everything resonates at a frequency. So if you would like your gifts of clairtangency, and people are like, I would open my telekinesis, well, study the hand chakras. Study the third eye chakra and the sacral chakra, because, I mean, there is more extreme gifts that are actually out there, but that's for you guys to figure out, because everyone's gifts open very differently regarding those, the bigger gifts such as telekinesis, which is, telekinesis can take time, like lots of time, and even when you start moving stuff, it's not consistent at all. It's just not consistent. It might frustrate some of you. There's a lot of fakes. You'll find advice online from fakes, but when you first start moving your first objects, which I won't really make videos about in the future, they won't be consistent. It'll be by accident. Now, because I'll start talking about the more crazy gifts. Weather gifts. That's a lot based on... Okay, weather gifts I've actually noticed, and I'm going to talk about this because I live in Florida and the weather here is always crazy. I've actually noticed a heart solar plexus connection is very related to weather gifts. When I say weather gifts, you'll have to figure that out on yourself as well. Now, you have to study the nature behind every gift and the chakra that resonates, and I really can't say too much about the advanced gifts, such as like the it's YouTube, and let's just say that there are some gifts that have been released online that are actually out there that should not really be taught. Let's just keep it at the simple gifts. So, such as opening clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairtangency, clairsentience, claircognizance. Claircognizance is pretty easy. You just track your dots. And that literally ties into clairaudience as well. So one gift will always open other gifts. If you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. If you're doing good and you're on the right track, your gifts are opening. Just be patient. And I highly suggest you guys connect your guardian angels. And I'm going to start pushing that more so in the future as well. Because your guardian angels will help you channel your gifts as well. And by channel, I mean everything has a source. Your gifts have a source. They come from source. But God gives your guides the permission and the energy to be able to channel their gifts. So let's just say, and people who connect to their ancestors very randomly, if they actually connect to their ancestors, sometimes they'll connect to an ancestor who's very gifted, and the ancestor's like, hey, I could basically channel my gifts to you. I could stick this USB cord in your third eye. And, well, that was wonderful. Stick this USB cord in your third eye, and voila, you're getting Vision's airdrop, which that's pretty much how it works. Same thing with your guardian angel. If you actually strengthen your guardian angel, it takes about a year to strengthen your guardian angel if you're consistent. After a year, you'll just notice cool things start happening. You'll hear, some of you will, it'll take way less than a year. Just be consistent. It's all about consistency. If you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. Until then, I will see you guys next time. Ciao.